Good day, everyone. Welcome to Real Conservative News. I'm your host, Nathaniel Rajkumar. Starting off locally here in Trinidad and Tobago, Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar has departed for Doral, Florida, where she will attend the Shield of the Americas Summit and participate in high-level discussions with President Donald Trump and senior United States officials on matters of mutual interest. Acting Prime Minister Jerlene John, the woman who I hope will succeed Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar, will end up the future leader of the United National Congress, was at Piaco International Airport earlier yesterday to see off the Prime Minister and a delegation as they embark on a mission aimed at strengthening diplomatic ties and advancing Trinidad and Tobago's interest on the international stage. This is the benefit you get for standing with the most powerful democratic nation in the entire world, the leader of the free world, United States of America, and President Trump at this point in time. God gave America that position, for such a time as this. And at the end of the day, Kamla Persad-Bissessar and our country will benefit greatly from increased security in national security. And also, we are being recognized across the entire world now as being one of the closest allies of the United States of America. And that will benefit us also economically, because a lot of other nations, a lot of businesses around the world will become interested. What is Trinidad and Tobago? Where is Trinidad and Tobago? I want to invest in Trinidad and Tobago. I would like to add one more thing. I hope the Prime Minister will consider boldly standing with Israel as well, because that covenant that was made with Abraham back in Genesis is still valid to this very day. Read Romans 11 and you will see and you will know that that covenant was never broken. Jesus did not break that covenant. He came to enforce the covenant. So at the end of the day, I will bless those who will bless you, and I will curse those who will curse you. That covenant still is valid today. So if you bless Israel, my dear Prime Minister, Trinidad will prosper even more than how we are going to prosper for standing with America. And I hope that the time will come that you will boldly tell people like David Naked to either stay quiet, or that you will denounce and distance your government from its anti-Zionist statements. Don't go anywhere. More local, regional, and international news up next. Crews from the government's highways division have been on the ground on the Diego Martin Highway near Crystal Stream, repairing potholes along the busy carriageway, places that have been neglected by the PNM for over 9 years. These targeted repairs will help improve driving conditions and extend the life of the roadway, making daily commutes smoother and safer for the many motorists who travel this route on a daily basis. These works form part of the ministry's ongoing effort to address potholes along major highways and key roadways across the country. My response was very simple. It's good to see that the government is serving all the peoples of Trinidad and Tobago, including PNM's faithful wife, Diego Martin. Don't get tired up. PNM, Diego Martin and Port of Spain will vote for PNM till thy kingdom comes. Having said that, I hope that this patching policy ends when TNT's economy is revived, and hopefully by then, there's no longer a shortage in the materials needed to pave our nation's roads. PNM was known for the past 10 years for patching. Once in a while, though, UNC is definitely taking it to a whole different level of trying to repair all the different roadways throughout Trinidad and Tobago. And we must commend them for that because they have limited funding right now and limited resources. Professional elite boxer and continental silver medalist Tiana Guy is in intense training for the upcoming Central American and Caribbean CAC Games qualifiers. The tournament scheduled for March 11th to 16th in Guadalajara, Mexico, will determine which athletes advance to the 2026 CAC Games in Santo Domingo. Wish you all the best. Just try your best. Do what you do your best according to your own ability. And God can be able to even make you achieve the greatest and come even first place. But even if you don't, you're still representing Trinidad and Tobago, and you will make us proud. Regional news up next.
For Saturday, March 7th, 2026, the weather for Trinidad and Tobago is forecast to be generally fair to partly cloudy and breezy, with intervals of showers primarily during the morning and early afternoon. General forecast. Conditions. Fair to partly cloudy skies with intermittent showers. Winds. Breezy conditions with potential for occasional gusts, especially near showers. Temperature. Maximum daytime highs around 30 degrees Celsius to 31 degrees Celsius, and nighttime lows near 24 degrees Celsius. Temp conditions Trinidad, PRCO, 31 degrees Celsius. Fair to partly cloudy, morning/early afternoon showers. Tobago, Crown Point, 30 degrees Celsius. Partly cloudy and breezy with passing showers. San Fernando, 31 degrees Celsius. Passing showers with overcast spells. Port of Spain, 30 degrees Celsius. Overcast at times with passing showers. Marine conditions. Open waters. Rough seas with wave heights ranging from 2.5 meters to 3.0 meters. Sheltered areas. Occasionally choppy with wave heights between 1.0 meters and 1.5 meters.
The first case management hearing of the election petition case against Prime Minister Dr. Godwin Friday, the elected member of parliament for the Northern Grenadines, we're talking about St. Vincent and the Grenadines, of course, and Minister of Foreign Affairs Dwight Fitzgerald Bramble, the elected member of parliament for East Kingstown, got underway on Thursday, March 5th, 2026 in the High Court. The matter challenges the eligibility of both men to sit in parliament and centers on a constitutional question regarding dual citizenship. Now, from what I noticed, our very, very capable and intelligent Anand Ramlogan is representing the Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines at this point in time. And it appears to be that Stuart Young is representing the individuals who are challenging the Prime Minister. It goes to show who are the individuals that the PNM basically supports. I don't think this is just all about looking at studying the Constitution. Because let's be very clear about something. What did Stuart Young think about the Constitution when he agreed to be appointed as Prime Minister, even though he was not the political leader of the People's National Movement? our constitution clearly states that the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago can only be appointed by the President if it is in two ways. Firstly, if you are the political leader of the majority party in Parliament, therefore you have the most amount of seats in Parliament, and you are the political leader, the President has no choice but to appoint you as Prime Minister of the country. And then the only other way is if there's no political leader of the majority party in Parliament, then and only then the President can use his or her discretion in order to choose another individual to become the Prime Minister. And most of the times, usually what you will do is choose a deputy political leader. From what I remember, Zami Young was never a deputy political leader, at least not at that point in time, of the People's National Movement. So why was he appointed as Prime Minister? And the question continues. I continue to ask this question: why did Rowley in the first place resign from his position as Prime Minister, but did not resign from his position as the political leader of the People's National Movement? And then as soon as Stuart Young became the supposed new Prime Minister, he called elections. So why didn't Rowley do that instead? There's need for an investigation into that. So while you are supposedly trying to find out what is constitutional or not in the St. Vincent and the Grenadines, our government should be launching an investigation into why Stuart Young was appointed as Prime Minister here in Trinidad and Tobago, and then just a couple days later called elections, even though he was not the political leader of the People's National Movement.
The challenge was filed by members of the opposition Unity Labour Party, which argues that the Constitution of St. Vincent and the Grenadines prohibits individuals who owe allegiance to a foreign power from being elected to Parliament. Following today's case management hearing, Prime Minister Dr. Godwin Friday exited the court accompanied by members of his legal team, including Attorney General Sarah Louise Mitchell and lead counsel Anand Ramlugan from Trinidad and Tobago, who spoke with the media and expressed confidence in the government's legal position.
Well, this is a rather interesting, if not amusing, experience. The mandate given to the newly elected Prime Minister is overwhelming, and this is an attempt by the petitioners to effect change otherwise done by the democratic process. The mandate is such that we are extremely confident that these election petitions will be dealt with swiftly and it will be given the due care and attention that they deserve.
Senior counsel from the petitioners, Stuart Young, who is also former Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, said the matter is fundamentally about the interpretation of the Constitution of St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
This matter for Vincentians is a serious matter, and what is being determined by the court really is an interpretation of your constitutional provisions and the qualification or the disqualification to stand as a candidate for elections. So it's quite an important provision that is finally going to be determined by the court.
Members of the government's legal team also indicated that they are confident their interpretation of the Constitution will prevail when the matter proceeds before the court.
It's a mistake to assume that even if they were to succeed, that the seat of government or the seat held by the Prime Minister will simply be handed over. That's not the case at all.
We are supremely confident. And as the Prime Minister said, elections are not won in the court. Elections are won on election day. And we did so overwhelmingly on the 27th of November 2025. The will of the people will prevail. The person who lost his deposit in the seat in the Northern Grenadines, that the court will just hand it over to them. That can never be the will of the people. That can never be democratic.
Meanwhile, Prime Minister Friday, who is also an attorney at law, said he believes the case is a waste of time and government resources.
We are focused on this matter here. They raised the matter in the court. They raised it in the election. The people rejected it. They raised it in the court. We expect it will be rejected there, and that's what we're focused on. I'm a busy person. I'm the Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The people elected me to do their business. I'm spending 2 hours in the court here answering a frivolous application. There's going to be cost to the state, and there is going to be using of court's time, and the persons who are initiating this process, those who are doing it now and those who are behind it, they are going to be accountable for it.
The next case management hearing is scheduled for May 19, while the trial is expected to take place from July 28 to 30, 2026. Following the court proceedings, Prime Minister Friday was greeted by supporters gathered outside the courthouse. For SVG TV News, Larissa Pogslickett.
Specialist cardiovascular surgeon Registrar Dr. Avlon Jeffrey has successfully performed multiple heart valve surgeries at the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation in Guyana just 2 months after returning home. Yes, people, and I believe a whole lot more of that will be taking place. A lot of Guyanese will be returning to their homeland of Guyana. Why? Because President Irfan Ali has been transforming that country, a third world nation, heading towards a first world. It's going to take a long time. Maybe even he may not even be around again as the president of Guyana. But nevertheless, he is causing Guyana to be heading in that direction. It can probably end up becoming the Dubai of the Caribbean region and South America. The achievement marks another step toward building a locally led cardiac surgery program and reducing reliance on visiting medical teams. Wonderful news coming out from Guyana.
All right, Dr. Jeffrey, I want to start off hearing a little bit about how you feel about your return. You returned just 2 months ago. What has the transition back been like for you, both professionally and personally?
Personally, the return has been fulfilling for me to come full circle after having studied for 6 years and coming back home to, the place that shaped me. It's been grounding, it's been humbling, and definitely reconnecting with my colleagues, family, friends. It's been a great experience. And professionally, it's been a bit of an adjustment. I'm coming from a high volume center where we did interventions or surgeries on a daily basis. And, coming back home, it's been a bit different because we only operate on a mission basis at the moment, where we have visiting teams coming from the US, coming from Canada, like they did only 2 weeks ago. And so we get bouts of surgery, which is good. And I do expect, it to get better because, of course, that's why I'm back now.
Former People's National Party Member of Parliament Jolene Silvera in Jamaica is to serve 20 years and 10 months in prison for the killing of his wife Melissa Silvera in 2023. In handing down sentencing, Chief Justice Brian Sykes gave Silvera 20 years for manslaughter and 20 years and 10 months for using a firearm to commit an offense. Both sentences are to run concurrently. It should have been running separately. Should have ended up spending 40 years in prison. He must serve 13 years before being eligible for parole. At least justice is served to an extent there. 20 years is reasonable, especially for manslaughter. So I must commend Jamaica for ensuring that justice was served in a case where this individual was a politician. And, usually politicians are treated differently. They usually have privileges. Not in this case, justice was served. Chinese Ambassador Zheng Bingkai highlighted a long-standing cooperation between China and Barbados during the 8th China Medical Team donation ceremony held in the boardroom of the Queen Elizabeth Hospital yesterday. Now, this is good news. Any sort of assistance from powerful and wealthy nations is welcomed here in the Caribbean. I just hope that Prime Minister Mia Mottley is just cautious, very cautious. I love the Chinese people. I have Chinese in me. My grandmother was a Chinese, mostly Chinese, mixed with a little bit of white and stuff like that, but mostly Chinese, right? So they are part of me. So I love the Chinese people. What I have an issue with is the communist government that is in control of China. So therefore, we have to be wise. While having diplomatic ties with them and allowing them or inviting them to invest into our countries, we have to be careful of how much influence and control the Chinese government has on our respective islands here in the Caribbean.
Good morning. It's a great honor to join you today for the handover ceremony of the medical equipment and the supplies donated by the Chinese government to the Queen Elizabeth Hospital of Barbados. In line with the agreement on the assignment of Chinese healthcare personnel to Barbados and the agreement on sending a China medical team to Barbados, the Chinese government has committed to providing medical equipment and materials to support the work of the China medical team. Today, we are officially handing over the equipment and the materials valued over Barbados $136,000. This donation represents another important contribution by Chinese government following the deployment of the China medical team to the QEH. These medical resources will enhance the capital's medical capacity and directly benefit the people of Barbados.
The U.S. and Venezuela have agreed to re-establish diplomatic and consular relations. The agency said in a statement that the two sides would make joint efforts to promote stability, support economic recovery, and advance political reconciliation, while their diplomatic relations have been improving since the U.S. military arrested Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro in January in a surprise raid. The announcement of formal bilateral ties marks a hugely symbolic step. President Donald Trump ordered troops to seize Maduro and his wife, bringing them to a Manhattan court to face allegations of weapon and drug offenses, which of course they will deny. But we all know the evidence is there to be, it has significant evidence, according to, of course, the America. But we all know that here in the Caribbean as well, to an extent. The U.S. Embassy in Caracas, which closed in 2019, has already reopened, and Washington has appointed a new diplomat in Venezuela. And even if we may not know exactly what crimes President Maduro was committing when it pertains to these allegations, we definitely know that he was a dictator that was ruling Venezuela with an iron fist. The Venezuelan government said on Thursday it was willing to advance a new stage of constructive dialogue based on mutual respect. Hopefully, this is just one of the stages towards restoring free and fair elections and democracy in Venezuela. But I'm really happy to hear this, both for the Venezuelan people and also my people here in Trinidad and Tobago. We are going to benefit, and I said that already. When democracy is restored in Venezuela and America is satisfied with what is taking place as the leader of the free world, we shall benefit, and in very significant ways, including with the Dragon gas deal. International news now. The Israeli force continues to strike in West Iran. Yesterday, Friday, over 400 targets were struck in several areas in Iran, including ballistic missile launchers and Iranian UAVs storage facilities. During the course of the airstrikes, an Israeli Air Force aircraft identified a truck loaded with an Iranian air defense system in the area of Sharud that was attempting to transfer to another area in Iran. After identification, the Israeli Air Force struck the truck, destroying the system. The Israeli Air Force continues to strike in order to minimize fire directed at the territory of the state of Israel. God is in control, and God is the one who is giving Israel and even America the ability to defeat the Ayatollah regime in Iran. White House spokesperson Caroline Leavitt says, as President Trump said, it will take 4 to 6 weeks to complete the objectives of Operation Epic Fury. She went on to say, we are in a good position to achieve the objectives. I'm really happy to see what is taking place. I was honestly wondering and hoping that it wasn't going to be like just like last year, where a couple bunker busters would have fallen and then Trump would have just go back to trying to negotiate again. Trump is making it very clear at this point in time, no more negotiations are possible with this present Ayatollah regime in office. I'm thankful it seems as though this time President Trump, along with his close ally Benjamin Netanyahu, Israel's prime minister, is finishing the job in Iran.
I won't get ahead of the president on broadcasting any timelines. What I will tell you is what President Trump has already laid out, which is that the achievable objectives of Operation Epic Fury we expect to last about 4 to 6 weeks, and we are well on our way to achieving those objectives. Annihilating Iran's navy, we know that we've sunk more than 30 Iranian vessels and ships. Their navy has now been deemed combat ineffective. Taking out the ballistic missile threat that Iran posed to the United States and our troops and bases in the region, we have done a tremendous job. The United States military has done a tremendous job at achieving that objective thus far. Just 6 days in, the retaliatory ballistic missile strikes from Iran are now down 90%. Of course, ensuring Iran can never obtain a nuclear weapon as well, and significantly weakening their proxies in the region, which we know are responsible for the deaths of Americans. And we've seen Hezbollah and the Houthis hardly putting up a fight over the course of the last 6 days. Ultimately, the president has made it very clear he wants to take out the threat of Iran to the United States, and Operation Epic Fury is well on its way to doing that.
The U.S. believes that Russia has been providing Iran the locations of American troops in the region, including aircraft and ships, according to 2 people familiar with the intelligence. An intelligence official confirmed the U.S. belief that Russia is providing intelligence to Iran. So I wonder what Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens and the entire QAnon movement, the far-right QAnon movement, who basically glorify Putin and believe that he is the... Now, I don't know if Tucker Carlson and Candace believe that he is a messiah, but I know the QAnon movement believes that Putin is a good guy and that he's the messiah of the entire world that will use the white hats to restore righteousness on earth. I wonder what they have to say about this now. That Putin and the Russians are actually working along with Iran to defeat or to attack American soldiers around in the Middle East. I wonder what Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens has to say about this. But of course, they will probably say that it's Trump that is causing all this to happen, because Trump is attacking a sovereign nation that has been held hostage for over 40 years by the Ayatollah, and up to the other day, murdered more than 40,000 Iranians who were protesting for their civil rights. Why Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens don't speak about those types of issues? Now, for the interesting facts segment, United Airlines has quietly revised its passenger agreement, specifically adding a clause to the refusal of transport section that targets noise pollution in the cabin. Under the new guidelines, the carrier now reserves the right to deny any boarding or deny boarding, remove a passenger from the aircraft, but listen to this, at any point, or issue a permanent flight ban for anyone who refuses to use headphones while playing audio or video on a personal device. This rule applies to everything from listening to music and watching movies to scrolling through social media feeds with the sound turned up. The airline has strategically placed this requirement within its safety provisions alongside rules for interfering with flight crew duties or carrying prohibited items. United representatives stated that the formalization of this rule was a logical step following the expansion of high-speed Starlink Wi-Fi across its fleet. With average download speeds now reaching nearly 95 Mbps, the airline noted it was necessary to set clear expectations to ensure a peaceful environment for all travelers as streaming becomes more common at, listen, 30,000 feet. So this is why I want to go back to at any point in time, you can remove a passenger. So if you're playing music at 30,000 feet, what are you trying to say? I will leave it as that.
Welcome to Real Conservative News Travel Adventures, Wuhan. The capital of Hubei province and a major bustling transportation hub in central China is known as the City of Rivers along the Yangtze. It blends deep 3,500-year history with modern urban life, featuring landmarks like the Yellow Crane Tower, the scenic East Lake, and the Hubei Provincial Museum. Wuhan offers a unique mix of a bustling metropolis, 14 million residents, with a surprisingly relaxed, sometimes quiet atmosphere in its many parks. And along the riverfront, it serves as a major port for Yangtze River cruises. The city has a strong, unique local culture with a distinct dialect.
Folks, that brings us to the end of today's news report. Thanks again to everyone who continues to support my content. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Stay blessed and stay safe most of all. In Jesus' name.